And I'll start recording. All right, we are
We
live
are
streaming.
now. Okay. Let's call the meeting to order. Hello to everyone, and Councilman Shayed, if you bring a few words, please, I'd be appreciative.
It'd be my pleasure. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Almighty Father, as we look upon the start of this new year, we ask that you give us guidance and strength, that you protect us and all of our citizens. In your name we pray. Amen.
Thank you so much. We entertain the motion to approve the minutes from December 19th, 2022.
So moved.
Probably moved and seconded. Any questions on those minutes? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right. Item C, request to set a public hearing.
Mr. Chairman, we've received a request from the church on right there on Hughie Street, Hanover Street. They have their actual sanctuary, then they have their I guess like community building is between. There's a paper street that they've asked requested the city that we would close and abandon that. So what we're asking the committee here is to explore the opportunities, potentially close and abandon that. So we would go through our process of doing our due diligence and checking to see, what city departments felt on that. And we would request to set that public hearing at the second meeting in February, which I believe, Jennifer, is the 21st of February. And we'll get weigh-in from everyone. We've kind of really tried to get a little bit better about just giving these paper streets away for issues such as parks and drainage and things like that. So we just want to there the picture on the screen of the portion. We just go ahead and do our due diligence and then make a recommendation to council at that meeting.
Okay, what's the pleasure of the committee? We entertain a motion here?
So moved.
All right, good. Thank you. Probably moved in second. Any discussion on that, on item C1? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Item E, acceptance and dedication of rights of way, E1.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. This is a request to notify SCDOT. We're taking over some multi-use concrete path and some concrete sidewalk in conjunction with a project that the county is doing on Folly Road. It's a multi-use path and sidewalk improvement they're doing. And DOT, as they've done in the past, have asked us to take over, and we're requesting to do that.
I heard the motion of approval from Councilmember Shahid on this one.
I paid attention, okay?
You almost snuck that one by, sir.
I tell you, the chair entertain a motion on this one, please.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Need you, Councilmember Bowden. We had a good roundabout on that at the last meeting, by the way, Councilman Bowden, you missed out on. But anyway, all in favor of this motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Temporary encroachments, F1 through 4. Anything unusual that needs to be?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to highlight for the committee, items 1 and 2 are actually permanent encroachments. We get very few of those, but those will actually take council action, which will be given tomorrow night when you make your report.
Okay.
The first one is the B Street. That's the Veterans Hospital. They're doing a parking garage, and this is a drainage easement, which they're going to build over that garage. And I think, Matt, correct me if I'm wrong, I think there's potential once that garage is built, they will have a relocation of that line. This allows them to start forward the project, I believe.
That's right, Mr. O'Brien. The intent of the VA is in a phased project to come back in a future project that would relocate that drainage line as part of a follow-on work they have on the parcel.
Okay. But Mr. O'Brien, you said F1 and 2, we're going to have to take a motion on at council?
Yeah, normally permanent encroachments required to be approved by council, and you would do your report and approve, make a recommendation that we accept those two as for permanent encroachment.
And we don't need to actually vote on it in committee?
You would, yes, sir. I think you would vote on them in committee and then just report that the committee
Right.
approved. Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. Is there a motion out there to approve permanent encroachments on F1 and 2?
Can we hear what F2 is?
Okay.
Maybe I
Yes,
missed
sir.
it.
Brian?
Mr. Chairman, this is a project, and there's some balconies that are being constructed on a hotel, and they're actually over the right of way. They're at a proper height where there will not be any conflict as far as the height, but they actually are permanent structures on the building, and so they will be approved as a permanent encroachment.
And where is this? What hotel is this?
It's 186 St. Philip Street. I can't remember the name of it. I'd have to go back and check. I'll send you a little note with the actual name of the project.
Wow. I'm just kind of curious. How did that get approved? The plans get approved with the balconies hanging over,
Well, they
not being on their property line.
Well, they got VAR approval and went through the process, and once it was approved by VAR, then they have to apply for an encroachment to make sure that we will allow that. So it was approved through the process, and it's we've been looked at by the VAR, and they approved as part of the concept for the hotel's facade. So,
Right, just curious on legal on this. If hypothetically that balcony drops and takes out somebody on the sidewalk, the city have liability on that?
Ooh, why do you ask me things like this?
I'm just saying.
If somebody's walking along the sidewalk and that balcony falls on them, I would think that the first person that's going to be on the other side of that V would be the hotel that owns it. But
Right.
inevitably, the city of Charleston, since everyone thinks our pockets are so deep and full of money, we stand the chance of being pulled in as well.
All right. I mean, just in the future, man, maybe we should share that with the BAR that, I mean, why don't you just keep the people within their property line instead of, extending over into the public airspace?
I'll talk to Robert about that.
Councilmember Bowden.
Just out of curiosity, are there other structures in the city that that have this type of encroachment?
Councilmember Bowden, yes, sir. We've had some. The last one that comes to mind off the top of my head is the housing project down there near the old Washington Street area. That housing project had some balconies that also came over the right of way, and there's also been, I think we've had some in some foundations also that have come under the sidewalk on some buildings that have had that. So we've had, it's really kind of rare in a lot of ways. We have had some exceptions in the past where they've happened like that.
Yeah. Okay. Mr. Mayor.
Years ago, it was a pretty common practice, probably before the city granted encroachments, the Dock Street Theater, the Mills House, they got the little balcony out over the sidewalk. I mean, the French Quarter has a number of them. I looked it up while y'all were chatting, and this is the corner of St. Philip and Cannon Street, and a really horrible looking one-story building is going to be torn down, and it's built right up on the property line on the sidewalk. The existing building is, and it's I've seen the building to replace it. It looks more like a Charleston single house with couple little balconies out on the side. So I agree with BAR's approval. It's a very attractive building, particularly compared to what's there. So anyway, I think in this case it's fine.
Yeah.
Councilman Waring,
Yes,
do you
sir.
mind if I chime in a little bit here?
Of course.
I was contacted by the owner and developer of the property, and we spoke briefly about this. It's actually not a hotel. I'm told it's a restaurant on the ground floor, and there's 2 condo units above, which may be put to STR use, but this is not some sort of big old hotel. And just to piggyback off of what the mayor said, I've been involved prior to my serving on city council. I was involved in some cases where there were numerous examples of this, especially down by the French Quarter over. I think one venue range has got balconies that hang over and are encroaching into the city's right of way. And this is not too far afield from what we've been doing over in the city over the years. And I think this is just maybe one of those examples where, in order for us to, achieve certain aesthetic goals through the BAR, we have to get a little bit of flexible on on a public works side of things. Thank you.
Hear you loud and clear. What's the pleasure of the committee? Can I entertain a motion?
I so
Move
moved.
to approve.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to add one thing in speaking with Ms. Julia Copeland. We also, when they sign these agreements, there's indemnity to the city and there is insurance required for them to have that. So there is liability put on the owner for this situation.
Thank you for that additional information. So can we entertain a motion to approve those permanent easement F1 identified on the agenda as F1 and F2?
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Bowden,
Second.
seconded by the mayor. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Thank you. Item G, environmental services update. Mr. O'Brien, Mr. Altop, you have anything for us?
Yeah, good afternoon. Just want to give you guys a quick update. Garbage and trash we were struggling there with for a little while. Everything seems to have gotten back in order. Haven't had any complaints. Talked with Brian at the call center. He's also seen a significant drop in complaints, and everything seems to be back to normal as it was, back when we were fully staffed at the moment. So we've made huge gains there. We are seeing more applicants now. We have submitted some applicants for trash and garbage. So we have seen a little bit of increase there. We made 2 offers for some garbage drivers and 2 offers for trash driver. So hopefully this is a start of a big push for us. We won't be able to order a sweeper this year. Just the money doesn't work because of everything is so much more expensive. But we are going to put through 3 boom trucks and 2 new automated side load garbage trucks for this year. And the rec collect system's first kickoff meeting is tomorrow. So that is rolling along too. So hopefully we'll be able to get that up and running here in the next 2 to 3 months, have it all out there.
Okay. Well, that's great. That's good news. So some of that increase in the budget is beginning to show some effects with hires. That's great. How many people we down? If we were to say we were fully staffed, how many more people we need?
So garbage, I need about 3 more, and trash is probably right around 7 or 8.
Okay.
Street sweeping, we are down roughly 9, but we did submit 2 offers for 2 street sweeping drivers this week, actually today. And we have 2 new ground custodians starting on the 6th. So we are making progress there as well.
All right, great.
Keep it up. Thank you.
Couldn't agree more. Thank you. H1, Mr. Fountain. Oh, we got executive session. Well, before the executive session, I had asked, I know there was an issue with, you not being able to make it last meeting, but anyway, for an update on the Doo-Wop Drainage District. So can we make sure we have that on the next agenda?
Absolutely.
All right, great. Now H1.
Councilman Waring, do you mind if I make a comment real quick?
Sure, go ahead. And then Councilmember Shade after you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I had circulated a email after our last council meeting requesting a update regarding Dominion tree trimming throughout the city.
Right.
Just to make sure, we get a good briefing and, council can make sure all the different pieces are functioning together. This was precipitated by some of the comments we heard at our last council meeting.
Right.
I just asked that we maybe put that on the next agenda, just, to make sure we're all on the same page and we just do a good status check to make sure all the wheels are turning on that. Okay. Does that sound like a good idea?
Sounds good to me. And Mr. Fountain, you all okay putting that on the agenda for us as well?
Got an email back, but.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make sure we get that on, and I'll also,
Okay.
we've done this in the past. I'll get with Jason Consberg, he does a lot of work with that, and maybe get.
Councilman Shade, can you mute yourself, Councilman? Can you mute yourself, Councilman Shea? You're
Oh,
doing
I'm
the same
sorry.
thing I did.
Mr. Chairman, what I was
Yes, sir.
saying was, we'll make sure we add that to the agenda. And Jason Kronsberg, our Director of Parks, has done a lot of work with Dominion on the tree issue. And I think he will be glad to participate with us and help us give you guys an update at the next meeting.
All right, great. Thanks much.
Yes, sir.
Councilman Shea, then Councilmember Bowden.
Thank you, and I apologize. I forgot I had not muted myself on that. So I've had this discussion with Mr. Fountain about a lake that's in my district. So there's some concerns about that. It's in Lake Sandhurst. And I'm meeting with the property owners on Thursday. They're having a board meeting. So I just want to put it on our agenda for next time, Mr. Chairman.
Sure.
These folks are going to want some discussion about that. And I appreciate Matt's assistance on this, but I would just want to make that on the agenda for next week. So if we can make that notation. Lake Sandhurst discussion.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, Councilman Bowden.
Well, we're adding things for next time's agenda. Well, this sort of goes along with the Dominion issue. They are AT&T's installing fiber optic cable out in my district, and I believe that these guys are most of the time doing the best work they can, and some of this stuff is unavoidable. But man, they are causing just an absolute scene out here.
Really?
They're cutting internet lines, and half of people work from home now. They're messing with some water lines and stuff. And again, I know that some of this is unavoidable, but I am just sort of curious what our permitting process is like for that work. If there's anything that we can do regulation wise, I imagine a lot of these things are pretty heavily regulated by the state, and so we wouldn't have a whole lot of ability to add anything on top of that. But if there's anything we can do in terms of a constituent asserted to me that it was very, very simple for them to have somebody on the site that could repair like an internet cable that got cut, and they could do that pretty easily. So just if there's anything that we could do in that department to make this less of an absolute nightmare for people, I think that we should be taking a look at it.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. When they came to our neighborhood, I'm telling you, but I can't tell you how proficient they were. They even when they trenched and the grass that they took out, when they put the trench back, grass went right back in. And no time it was grown over. But Mr. O'Brien, I saw you anxious wanting to jump in there, Mr. O'Brien.
Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to say that Councilmember Bowden, a lot of times what happens is AT&T uses different subcontractors, and some of them, like you can imagine, some are very good and some are not. And we've been out in that area with our inspectors, staying on top of them. We've also had some others just over in the Northbridge area doing the same thing. And matter of fact, I'm having an email just pop up from one of my inspectors now about some of that they're checking on. So we're trying to stay on top of them, and it helps us when we get these calls, because with just 2 inspectors for the entire area, West Ashley and the islands, it helps that we know, because we'll send somebody over there right away when we get that. So appreciate you guys letting us know about that.
I agree. Councilman Appel.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Stephen, get with me offline. They came through Burns Downs last year, and I learned a lot about this process. I've got a good contact over at AT&T that can herd the cat, so to speak, when problems arise, and I'd be happy to share that contact info with you.
Yeah, that's good information. All right, now we entertain a motion to go into executive session.
So move.
Moved and seconded by Councilmember Bowden. All in favor of going into that?